Hello friends, let us discuss few important questions from ENT. First question is, what is the most common site for angiofibroma? The correct answer is spinopalatine foramen. Next question is, which of the following is not included in the rule of 10 of glomus tumor? The correct answer is 10% asymptomatic. This rule of 10 means 10% of the cases are familial and multicentric and 10% are functional. Next question is, which of the following is not correct about the direction of nasolacrimal duct? The correct answer is medially. This nasolacrimal duct is directed downwards, backwards and laterally. Next question is, part of the middle ear surrounding eustachian tube is called as? The correct answer is protympanum. Protympanum means part of middle ear surrounding the eustachian tube opening. These parts are divided with respect to the level of ear ossicles. Epitympanum means above the level. Epitympanum is the widest part of the middle ear. It is about 6 mm. Mesotympanum is the narrowest part. It is about 2 mm. Whereas this hypotympanum is about 4 mm. Next question is, which layer of the tympanic membrane is absent in healed tympanic membrane? The correct answer is fibrous layer, that is middle layer of the tympanic membrane is absent in case of healed tympanic membrane. This fibrous layer is also absent in pars flaccida. What are the three layers of tympanic membrane? There is outer cuticular layer, middle fibrous layer and inner mucous layer. Next question is, which part of the incus is most commonly involved in necrosis? The correct answer is long process or lenticular process. This long process is involved most commonly because of tortuous arteries and there is no muscle attachment. So there is less blood supply. Next question is, in which of the following conditions sinodural angle becomes obtuse? The correct answer is CSOM. Normally, this sinodural angle will be acute. That means less than 90 degree. This sinodural angle is also called as Sittelis angle. This angle is present between roof, that is dural plate, and petrous bone. This is the angle between dural plate and petrous bone or sinus plate. This angle is normally acute angle, but there will be collection of pus in case of CSOM, so the angle becomes obtuse. Next question is, damage to which part of the inner ear causes nystagmus and vertigo? The correct answer is semicircular canal. Any abnormality of this semicircular canal causes nystagmus and vertigo. Damage to this cochlea can cause deafness. Damage to this utricle and saccule can cause disturbance in the linear balance, so it can lead to ataxia. Semicircular canal means this is the posterior part of vestibule. Any damage to semicircular canal can disturb the angular balance, causing nystagmus and vertigo. Posterior-superior part of external auditory canal is supplied by which of the following nerve? The correct answer is facial nerve. The external auditory canal is divided like this. This is posterior-superior, anterior-superior, anterior-inferior and posterior-inferior. The question asked here is posterior-superior. This is supplied by facial nerve. Anterior-superior part is supplied by trigeminal nerve. This anterior-inferior part is supplied by vagus nerve. And this posterior-inferior part is supplied by C3. Next question is, which part of the pinna is the most common site for mastoid tenderness? The correct answer is Symba concha. Next question is, what is the most common site for apple jelly nodule? The correct answer is helix. Next question is, what is the most common site for osteoma in ENT? The correct answer is frontal bone. Least common site is temporal bone. In this temporal one, what is the most common site? It is external auditory canal. Next question is, which of the following is most inappropriate statement regarding the keratosis obturans? The correct answer is, it affects old age. This keratosis obturans affects younger age group. Keratosis obturans can be associated with sinusitis or bronchiectasis. Patient can present with acute severe pain or moderate conductive hearing loss. Usually this is bilateral condition and we can see circumferential bony erosion. In this there won't be osteonecrosis. Osteonecrosis is not seen. There is one differential diagnosis, that is external ear canal cholesteatoma. External ear canal cholesteatoma. This is seen in elderly. There will be dull pain. There will be little or no hearing loss and bony erosion is localized. In this, osteonecrosis is usually present. Next question is, in which of the following condition Gerhardt notch is seen? The correct answer is otosclerosis. There is maximum hearing loss at 2000 Hz in bone conduction. Next question is, what is the investigation of choice for conductive deafness? The correct answer is tympanometry. This tympanometry depends on the air conduction compartment. So, any abnormalities in the tympanogram will be differential diagnosis for the conductive deafness. This electrocochleography is the investigation of choice in Meniere's disease. Meniere's disease, or this is also called as endolymphatic hydrops. Next question is, which of the following is not the hallmark feature of Meniere's disease? The correct answer is conductive deafness. The hallmark features of Meniere's disease are the order of symptom is tinnitus, vertigo, and there will be sensory deafness. Along with this, there will be fullness of ear. Next question is, which of the following is not true about atticoantral CSOM? The correct answer is tympanoplasty is the treatment of choice. This is not correct. Tympanoplasty is done in safe CSOM, that is tubotympanic CSOM. In this atticoantral CSOM, this is also called as unsafe CSOM. In this, ossicles and tympanic membrane are fully eroded. The basic anatomy is distorted. We can see scanty discharge. It can involve attic antrum. It can also involve pars flaccida. There will be foul smelling discharge. So in this atticoantral CSOM, we will perform operation to reduce the complications. So here treatment is mastoidectomy. Next question is, what is the most common complication of tympanoplasty? The correct answer is residual perforation. Next question is, what is the most common intracranial complication of CSOM? The correct answer is meningitis. Meningitis is the most common intracranial complication of CSOM. This brain abscess is the second most common intracranial complication. Extradural abscess is the third most common complication. This mastoiditis is the most common extracranial complication. What is the most common complication of tracheostomy? The correct answer is hemorrhage. What is the most common organism causing epiglottitis? The correct answer is Streptococcus. Epiglottitis is the emergency condition. Patient will be having high grade fever. and there will be inspiratory dyspnea and patient will be toxic. We should start IV antibiotics. Next question is, what is the most common site for congenital webs? The correct answer is anterior commissure. We can see congenital webs or syphilitic lesions or leprosy or lupus or papillomatosis on anterior commissure. Next question is, which of the following is the largest paranasal sinus? The correct answer is maxillary sinus. It has capacity around 15 ml. Next question is, which paranasal sinus starts to develop at last among the all paranasal sinuses? The correct answer is frontal sinus. Frontal sinus is the last sinus to develop. What is the investigation of choice in cases of sinusitis? The correct answer is endoscopy. Endoscopy is the investigation of choice and treatment of choice. X-ray is the first investigation to be done. HRCT is the radiological investigation of choice. So these are few important questions from ENT for NEET PG exam. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more MCQ series. Thank you.